on the right people.
Oh, so slows out, getting some autos down. On is taking up the turret and flashed out just at the last moment of an invade, but because he, alongside Shadow.
I mean, at times that's just the.
Oh my God! The Q into Dwayne to stun him into the cease and desist. Shadow is styling on his former team right now.
Absolutely.
Awesome dodge by a nice little magical journey there out of Dwayne, but Elk is transcended and he's flashed right over the only ability that stops him from solo killing.
As Jotchi falls and
oh
boy, not again.
They're using the minions. Remember, the turret doesn't ramp up on the minions. This is just bullying from On and Elk. 4 versus 1. Yeah, I feel like he's just as good as dead. There is the lava carpet and the knockups all landing, but JJ takes a good lick of damage, and that's going to TP in here, but a flash magical journey saves all. JJ escapes with his life. And he is going to go down to the flame spinner from Sheer. Tempered Fate also locks On up and forces him to turn forward the Pop Blossom, but the heal is not enough. JJ survives. Dwayne diffing that play from BLG.
This is the rotation around so on point. There's
Elk immediately cleanses the Timber stun. I don't even think they really even need a Shadow. I think Elk just wins that alone, but good bait nonetheless. It's caught On out as his teammate was resetting, and they guessed right on the clone. JJ's impact instantly felt so far in this game 1. Overforce in spots, they're just disrespecting their opponents. His 2 flashes immediately gets that Yunar picked off. The Tempered Fate also is going to grab Shadow, and Tibbers wants to lay his paws in on the BLG jungler. No Vault Breaker, it's just a stun. Here's a Pop Blossom. Bin teleports in. They still have their turret up, which is actually really huge. JJ, this time the Magical Journey cannot save you from the might of the turret. Bin not going to look for more with that needle work, but Bilibili have 10th game of Rumble, you know he's comfortable testing the limits of his damage. And Knight, we're going to try and forget that one on your MVP campaign, but the action keeps rolling nonetheless. BLG have completely cut Dwayne out, and a good layering. If they can hold this front line, On is actually going to respect flash away from JJ. Stun comes across. JJ, do you have a steal in you? Yes, he doesn't need to steal it because he just killed off Shadow. There's the dragon secured. Bin's going to try and kite back towards Elk, but here comes the Tempered Fate. Not going to hit on either member, so you don't.
Speaking of damage here, goodbye. That's some revenge for Knight.
Round, so Otacon isn't a freebie for BLG, but they kind of feel like it is. That Tempered Fate gauge on to Care this time. Elm trying to set himself up with the Transcendence, but the Between Worlds with Bin's damage is more enough to take JJ down. Here comes the Lava Carpet, really well positioned. There's no jungler left, and the Otacon has completely reset, and that throws a huge wrench in any Otacon placement of their own. And of Knight already taken down. Tempered Fate, though, is going to stall Jotchi's execution. Pop Blossom going to hold JJ's clone at bay as Ben wins his 1v1 with Sheer off to the side. But Kara is able to drop Shadow off. Both jugglers again trade out very early in the fight. Clutch Pop Blossom from On. Will get control towards that Baron, but how much value can he get out of some of those ults you've already burned as JJ gets caught by a big Pop Blossom, and On make sure that he trades his life with the junglers. Win for BLG now. They have a much superior smite left up on the board, and they're going to try and take control of the Bear Pit or look for more as Care sends Shadow on a long ride, but it's one back towards the fountain. Another quick trade, 1-for-1.
Pressing R.
It'll work, but he gets Tibbers dropped, even though he tries to stasis it with the Gwen passive. The Zanya's forces out the E from Sheer. He's able to get that first kill. Jotchi, though, is down as Knight gets just enough damage out, and Elk is going to take the turret up through the stasis and help Knight knock down FPX by, again, Ray. Cyclone just used defensively. They do catch On off to the side, but Elk is able to put some serious damage out. Karen goes into the stasis. Shadow is out. Sheer flashes after him, and Jotchi's able to grab Elk and knock him down. Bin saves the fight for the second by trading out Sheer, but JJ and Dwayne are going after him. No stun lands. Bin trying to kite back using the scissors to the best of his advantages. The soul lanes of BLG. They have to hold up tall, and Knight slams the golden left hand down on the head of FPX. Now, as we talk about, he gets caught by the Tempered Fate, but On looks for an immediate turn with a 3-man Pop Blossom. Knockham's still going to come on to Knight. JJ has the GA, so he will come back up, but Elk is right in front of him. He needs to get these autos down. JJ can use the Trickster and the Cyclone to get out. Bin's needle work, not enough. The heal comes through. Elk's trying to push the Transcendence to the maximum form, and it'll help get just enough damage through to drop JJ and Dwayne. And with are they able to siege well? Shadow flashes away from the Timbers really well, so he doesn't get popped as Knight dropped in Between Worlds. JJ forced out of the fight, and Care once again. Big game plan, and Pop Blossom is through on to 2, and Knight gets onto the back line to drop all of that damage. GA's popped, but Knight is taking heads, not names, grabs himself a double kill just like that, and no Baron needed, just massive loads of damage. Bilibili Gaming gonna take a 1-0 lead in 42 minutes. for the first time in what feels like forever, BLG are winning a post 40-minute game.
Yeah, I mean, BLG, they scaled in this one around mid lane, because if you can set that Orianna...
Kare and JJ weren't expecting this kind of a rat coming through so early. When comes Lightning connects, Kare is going to flash, but the red buff is going to get the kill.
Intervention mid.
Hold on, wait, try to punish on. Unbreakable shield, not going to hold him long enough. On a payment, feels pretty confident taking this, and FPX gonna flash on top of On, sets up the double headbutt pulverize with a flash out of the shockwave. Is gonna keep Shadow alive. On very low, but full support seem happy to try and trade themselves out. Elk does have to flash forward to secure the first kill, puts him in a pretty uncomfortable position. The flick back not gonna land because Jachi flashes over it. Shadow gonna look for the trade very desperately. Does use the move, becomes Lightning, able to get the kill and the heal, but Knight is out of mana, and JJ's got enough behind his spear to find that kill. Knight trying to use the complete usage of all of his mana to pick up this last kill, and he will get it with the flick back and the flash over the wall. Gets stunned and Topo strikes back, but there's the all-out, really well positioned from Sheer. Gets Elk away from his turret. Knight TP's back in, seismic shove down. Shield goes up for JJ. This one more On, caught out, but Knight that has to actually pay the Pied Piper. Joy delivers the shockwave. Knight flashing over the wall, but Jachi's gonna chase him down. 2 levels down, but still feels like he has enough damage. Picks up the double kill, but look at Bin with Dominus pop. Jachi already flashed over the wall to get in, and Bin's gonna make sure to expedite his shipping right back towards the fountain, but Jachi's gonna make it a triple kill before he goes down. Seraph's on tap here for Knight as we have our first pretty big Grand Starfall coming down to try and cover Joy. He does pop the Unbreakable Will. The Shadow and On are able to create enough space here, it feels like, for Knight and Elk. It has to be a pretty big shockwave, but Shadow drops the Crescent Guard and executes JJ. Jachi over the wall still feels confident because the shockwave is going to find and clip Knight, who goes down first. Elk can't seem to find a way in, and Jachi can back maybe, and Elk's going to dash forward and try and find the kill, but he hits a shockwave and a Valkyrie right to the head. Jachi again, just pushing out way too much damage for BLG to ever find an answer for. They're going to get here just in time for a 50-50 to come across. He does not get Shadow wins that one. The younger hands able to handle the spike key there. JJ can eat the stun, and here comes that Dominus up Bin, and that's enough to force Jachi back out of the fight. Bin making the difference, and Knight's just going to make sure to commit it. Elk does flash as well, but they still are able to layer that second stun, and now it's JJ getting a 2-for-1 special on.
And the gold up.
Flash with the exhaust. On gets the Winter's Bite stack. Shadow's gonna find that kill. 2.8k advantage in the 80 carries. Doesn't matter when he gets run down by Shadow and On. Prairie
real
Rocket.
angle there.
Jachi was the angle. Now JJ, look, I mean, this is what Pantheon does when he doesn't have a flanking ultimate. He walks up and gets deleted. Start to melt the Otacon, but Shadow wants the fight. He's going to flash in, gets headbutted out, but the Weaver's Wall cuts Kare off from the rest of his team, and the rest of FPX are put into the grinder. Sure, Sheer gets one back, but Elk's flashing after him for the Winter Bite stacks, and it's going to make sure the top laner for FPX falls as well. There's the fight BLG were looking for, and here's their commanding lead. Service shockwave and a headbutt on Knight, but he doesn't have enough damage thrown on top of him, so he flashes back out. Look at Jachi. How does he ever get into this fight to deal all the damage the Corki needs to deal? Finally, he'll be able to turn some, but that's just, again, to save some of his members until On flashes back forward, and they catch Jachi again with a 2-man seismic shove, flick back. BLG back to their mid-game dominating ways. Again, where's your damage, bro? There's nothing left. He barely tickles Elk and goes down just like that. Joy tries to deliver another shockwave, but it is just too little, too late, FPX. The sunset has passed. The twilight has arrived on your Rumble stage.
Game 1, I feel like took a little bit longer than what it should have taken for them to win that one, but this one, I'd say right on schedule. It was a bloody game, but it was always in their favor. BLG take care of business and take